Is that good?
That's good.
All right, are we ready?
I think so.
The dogs are going to drive me crazy.
They were about to hump. I told you.
They need to go upstairs.
Bender got Louie horned up.
He's being a jerk. He comes around the corner to stare at me just to be a jerk.
We've been doing this podcast for like 5 years. I feel like you should have soundproofed the floor by now.
Yeah. Well, usually it's not two dogs, and they've been behaving weird of late. I think COVID has got them messed up. But
There was an article on that.
I'm sure there was. Regardless, before we get into the article, I do want to say we are back, and this is a hybrid. This is Pandemic Session 18.
Okay.
And it's a hybrid comic book episode. And by that, I mean we're going to talk about a few comic book titles, but we're also going to talk about some movies and some TV shows. And because we're going to talk about comics, I can officially call it a hybrid because the Flop decided to join us.
Yeah. She just wanted to
I didn't
drink.
know. That is a true story, and I didn't know you guys were going to nerd out on me.
She made me really guilty when she came down here and said, "You don't even have the mic hooked up."
I don't know why you wouldn't think I mean, every other time I've had something going on when you do podcasting.
Made me feel real sexist.
I don't know what you do anymore.
Well, what?
I mean, you could have had plans tonight. I don't know.
Do
At
you do?
8:30?
Yeah, I never know what she's doing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Shut up, John.
Making meatloaf?
so what I'm saying is 3 of the 4 hosts are here, so we're almost out of pandemic. But I'm convinced the Badger's not coming back in studio till January.
No, we.
Oh, you mean July 2021?
Yes.
I need to text him though because we're doing a COVID-friendly. Rachel rented the fucking bubble bus for Harry's 2nd birthday. But we're only inviting people that have children, small children that would enjoy a bubble bus.
Yeah.
So I need to invite them. I don't anticipate them coming.
I
but
do
I'm
not
gonna-
anticipate
I at least
it
want to
either.
invite them.
And if he did, it would be a weird scene to see how that would play out.
I mean, I think they'll be all right. I mean, we're gonna socially distance and keep everybody outside.
I'm
but
sure the bubble bus has plans.
Yeah.
They have that planned out.
Our bubbles are
$300 for 1 hour.
Jesus. I can come over there for $20 and blow bubbles for an hour and a half.
I mean, it's a pretty neat truck, and apparently they're also a DJ. I don't know.
I think it's the
Seems
same
stupid.
one.
Do they play EDM while
I
they
have
blow
no
the bubbles?
fucking
Because that'd be
clue.
great.
I would almost bet it's the same one that does at the St. Louis FC games. In
it
the
is.
kids
Oh,
It's the
yeah.
same guy. It's the same guy.
That's pretty fun.
It is, and the bubble thing is pretty neat. Like I've seen them in carnivals and stuff, and like they do like the 8-foot bubbles and shit. It's pretty cool. But I'm like $300 for 1 hour.
Yeah, you're
Love
fancy.
your kids.
Got you a new truck.
Yeah.
Went to a private
Truck
place on the
guy
lake.
now.
Now you
Oh,
got-
went to the Four Seasons
Four
at that.
Yeah, that was cool. It was fun.
Got you a
A private area, like you guys were
We had like a little cabana type thing.
and you got
It was
you
pretty
a bus or a bubble bus.
Yeah, for our
you're,
children.
You're fancy as it gets now,
Dude,
Are you
Four
are you
Seasons.
becoming too good for me?
No, I'm still broke, bro. I bought a truck. I'm broke.
Well, you better start saving because you have another kid having a birthday here in a couple months.
Oh yeah, Vera. She's gonna be 6. That doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, but she's the princess of
What?
the house.
know.
And 2 does?
No, it doesn't. None of them matter.
Hey, let's get into this. I did want to start on one thing too, and I feel like this was possibly going to be our soundbite that I'm going to put on Instagram.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
But yeah, I don't know. It could get off the
bad.
rails.
Too bad.
Racist Missy could come back out.
Yeah.
But
Do that in these times.
yeah, but I wanted to bring this up because Andrew, good friend of ours, Andrew,
Beer sauce, Andrew.
Beer Sauce Andrew,
Okay.
when you do something, as brave as opening up a business, and that business cuts successful, which is very hard to do, and then you open up a second location, and now you're working on a third, it takes balls.
Yeah.
Then to make the decision that he recently made in life, in light of all that,
I thought this is where you were going.
is really, really, I think it takes a lot more balls than even open the business. And during COVID, Andrew grew his hair out, and he chose a week ago to cut it into a mullet. it is the most.
We just saw him on Saturday. I'm like, hey, nice COVID hair. It was unruly.
And it is the most high and tight, glorious mullet. Like, he went to a professional barber to get a professional mullet cut. It's not quite as long as you'd expect trucker
Okay.
mullets.
Yeah.
But it is.
Is it Joe Dirt length?
No.
No.
You know what it's like? It's like 80s wrestler mullet.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
trimmed. It is a
Yeah.
really well kept business.
Nice.
With enough of a party to make you know there's a party in back.
Yeah.
Just enough to get the neighbors called once.
Why?
Because it was fun.
Okay. I don't feel like I know Andrew enough outside of like a podcast or his business setting. I need to like see how the wheel turns a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because Because that's funny.
Yeah, and apparently mullets have been a growing thing among like the teenage boys in the last few years, and COVID mullets are like a super thing.
Yeah, I watch Late Night with Seth Meyer, and he's trying to get what's his name's hair from Pretty in Pink, James Spader's hair from Pretty in Pink.
Oh yeah,
he's just growing it out to try to get that same
that glorious wave long, which is kind of like a yuppie mullet.
Yeah,
yeah.
I've gotten 2 haircuts.
Yeah, I just wanted to give Andrew a nice shout out for.
I don't know
doing
where
what he
that
did.
picture is. I just tried
It's
to
on
look
his
for it.
Facebook,
I mean, good
and it was
for
a
him,
story.
man. That's fucking awesome. I mean, his businesses are doing well, I believe. I doubt the cigar business is doing great.
He and I talked about it.
People are still golfing.
He sold out all of his stock and did not know how much the buy-in back in to get more stock, and it wasn't worth it right at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah,
to do
that
it.
makes sense.
Yeah, but like I said, it takes a lot of balls to be a face of a company and have the worst hair.
Yeah, well, that's true.
so-
I saw his brother the other day when I was there, and he had a pretty gnarly beard going on.
Yeah, he does. He
Yes.
does. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not handsome. It's not
Didn't
handsome.
say that.
I told him.
not say that.
I mean, it's a beard. It
Yeah.
is a beard.
Oh, you should probably brush it.
You know what? But he does what he does. He's
Yeah.
probably the quirkiest of all of them. But
I love the beer sauce shop, guys.
hey, with that said, we are going to talk a little bit of comics, and we'll see how good we get into this because you called for this episode. So
Yeah.
you
Oh,
said
this is why this episode's
Well, I just
happening.
hadn't heard from you. I didn't know if you had COVID, were dead, and then I saw you posted some shit on Instagram. I'm like, he's not dead.
well, we've been super busy with
Yeah, me too.
sports every night, with a teenage daughter getting her permit,
Yeah.
and all
How's
that
that?
stuff.
It's great.
It's okay. She's kind of.
I'm looking forward to say, hey, we need butter.
Yeah,
Can
go
you go to
get
the
it.
store?
Yeah.
She can't do
me
that
too.
without someone yet, but
No.
you know. But she
So-
does have her permit.
But you can, like, out of the gate at 15 now get a permit? You don't have to wait
Yes,
till 15 and a
15,
half?
and you have to have someone that is 20
They have to be a relative, and that relative has to be 25 and over.
And
with
do
a license for at least 3 years.
Okay, and do they have to drive so many hours before they can take the 16 test?
You have to have your permit a minimum of 6 months
Okay.
before you can get your license.
Okay.
So the earlier the better.
Yeah,
And then after 16 you do all the tests, and then when you get 18 you just basically go pay extra money and
Oh, really?
you get your full license.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
do
it's so
they
weird.
still have the curfew at like 1 o'clock? Or something?
16-year-olds have curfews.
I thought that's what I figured.
It's not until 18 till you get an
Ask
actual
my daughter
license
how
at
late she was roaming around the neighborhood at her friend's house last night.
3
Way past the curfew.
3 a.m. at a boy's house.
Oh, that's
Well, there was 4 girls.
Yeah, and it was-
and my kid doesn't break the rules, and I say that after she
stole them.
she
I'm
was
not-
out at 3 a.m.
I'm
but-
not gonna tell you whose company yard sign she stole recently, but it was not Bumblebee Bill, and it's someone's room. They're doing that kind of stuff. The stuff we did when we
yeah,
were kids.
dumb shit.
That's where they're at now. But so anyway, back to what we were talking about. You called this episode and you said, I've been reading Secret Empire.
Yeah.
But then you threw a curveball at me and go, I don't know if I'll get through all 10 issues before.
No, I said I didn't know if you could.
Oh, okay,
had
sorry.
You not read
I didn't
it.
misread your. I pulled to you and did not read your text.
Yeah.
I did read it. I read
Oh,
it.
you have read
I
it.
read it a month or two back.
Okay. Yeah, I just finished it up last night, but I was like, man, 10 issues is a lot for like a 1-day turnaround.
Did it not sound like you said tennis shoes is a lot?
It did. It really did sound like 10 issues.
issues.
10 issues.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start talking about these comics real quick. Not
Rapid
real
fire.
quick,
Boom,
but we're going to talk through those, and then we're going to get to the old guard here in a little bit. Missy can come back in on the old guard, but let's start with Secret Empire, since you talked
Okay.
about Secret Empire. For those that don't know, Secret Empire, written by Nick Spencer, lots of creator-owned books from Image, also wrote Action Comics and just a shit ton of Marvel titles, and then drawn by a team including Rod Reese, Daniel Osuna, Steve McNiven, and Andrea Sorrentino. Of those guys, McNiven's by far my favorite.
Yeah.
Although I will say this, Daniel Osuna's art, or Acuna, I don't know how he pronounces his art's pretty good. And essentially what the story is thanks to a sentient cosmic cube named Kobik, Captain America is now a member of Hydra, a double agent, or because of the Cosmic Cube, has always been a double agent.
Yeah.
Went back and daubered up with history and hid the real Captain
Yeah.
America. So a bunch of Cosmic Cube stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the premise.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up taking over the country.
Yeah.
And of course, the good guys have to rally and try to beat him, and there's a lot of stuff that happens there. But that's where I'm going to throw it over to you, and then we'll bounce back.
Yeah, Korbic. Going into this, I hadn't read a Marvel event in quite a while. I think, almost any Marvel event. I started to do the War of the Realms, but I gave up. I have to go back and reread.
I like that one.
I'm going to reread
Much
the whole
shorter
thing,
than
the
this.
Jason Aaron run, but no, I thought it was pretty good. I know it got a lot of slack in the beginning for being kind of a downer, and Captain America's. I guess he's kind of like Superman. You really shouldn't touch him. I guess he's holier
but the
than
way
thou
they
in the comic
did
book
it,
world.
they did it even cheaper than killing Superman. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way they did it is they used the cosmic cube, so they gave themselves immediately.
They gave themselves an out.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't
Immediately.
even making bones about it. I
Yeah.
mean, they used the cosmic cube to turn him into Hydra. They could do it to undo it. And so, spoiler alert, that's kind of what they do by fragments of the cosmic cube.
And that's where I kind of got a couple of problems with it. Like, I didn't care. I thought making Kobik or whatever, the cosmic cube thing, I thought that was stupid. Making it a sentient being.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I didn't mind the backstory of them using the cosmic cube to rewrite history, and basically Hydra technically won World War II, and pretended they didn't and implanted. I liked that part. That I thought was really neat.
So my notes here, and I'm not going to break down the story because it is a very long story. We will give our review at our score for it at the end. What I did put is for a story that had so many moments that I enjoyed in it.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it overall,
Yeah, me either.
massively. I gave it a 3 out of 5 because there were some things like Cap lifting Mjolnir the first time, shock value. Mm-hmm. And spoiler alert, again, we're spoiling. This is an older story now. You should have read it. If you haven't read it, go read it.
Yeah, it's been around for 2 years.
Then he can't lift. Well, Hydra can't lift it.
Yeah.
But spoiler, the good Cap that they go back can't. So that was awesome.
Yes.
I really liked how they tied in with what they did with the Inhumans. How you immediately got, as soon as your power manifested, they came and...
Yeah, I liked that. It was a roundup thing.
And I liked how they used that Inhuman future teller who they tied in a long time ago.
Yeah, to see the future.
When they saw that Miles Morales
was going to
kill Cap.
Yeah.
And I liked how they tied that in. So that was clever.
I didn't like the Inhuman that puked up the cosmic cube.
Yes, yeah.
That was really stupid and convenient. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, nice Deus Ex Machina there. But there were just, in between those moments, there was so much exposition, so much writing, so much words, and the art did not always work for me.
See, I like the espionage feel, the Winter Soldier, like the
Steve Epstein's art from Winter Soldier, I believe that's who, or Brubaker, or not.
I think it's
not Brubaker.
Brubaker didn't write it.
He didn't write it. Not Brubaker. I thought Steve Epstein drew some, but it could have been. I can't remember who all wrote or drew the Winter Soldier, but I love the Winter Soldier art.
Yeah.
It's some of the things in here, especially like the flashbacks and some of the big battles, just didn't work for me.
You didn't like the they used a lot of solid colors. Like when he was Hydra, it was always red.
Yes,
you know.
I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It's a very independent looking thing that they do, but maybe that is my problem.
But I thought that Cap was kind of goofy looking in general.
That was one of my biggest
seem very
problems.
cut or big in most of that. I just thought it was poor timing because, America's kind of in it's a very divided country right now, and a lot of people escape to comic books, and to make Captain America a fascist in a time when fascism is a really, it's kind of a real thing in certain degrees, depending on which side of the spectrum you're on. I thought was poor timing. It kind of makes you feel like when I was reading it, I like to read comics to escape, and then this feels like it's bleeding into the real world a little too much too soon. Like going back in a couple years, if everything works out a little bit better, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that, and this inspired that from, if they would have wrote this in 2020 and everything changes and that we stopped stealing people off the streets, and they would have wrote the story, I'd be like, oh, that was in homage to that, and that's what was going on. That's what you guys were thinking, and I just felt like it was a little kind of depressing for what's going on in the world right now. It wasn't an escape.
No, so I think...
But I don't think anybody owes me that.
No, yeah, two thoughts on that. One is I think while you're right, and you're certainly entitled to feel that way, I think in spite of everything that's going on in the world, we almost have to really take solace in our comic books, and if they happen to hit close to home, just ignore it because it's so depressing right now.
Yeah, and I don't think and I'm not mad at the writer or anything. They're entitled to tell the story and how they're feeling, and to me that's what didn't work about the story. Was it just felt like comics are kind of like a break from reality, a break from Twitter, and I just felt like it was another.
I think what didn't work for me is that it was a big Marvel event that did not feel very big as I was reading it.
Yeah,
and so the other thing that I have to apologize for not knowing, I don't even know if this has had long-term ramifications on the Marvel Universe. I don't know if it's part of Empire or what's going on, because I do know this, that when at the end in the prologue, or the epilogue, when Captain America, good Captain America, comes and talks to evil Captain America, Supreme Leader, and he tells him, if you
never step out,
I'll be ready for you. And then when the two guards come in, the one guard's lit, and he whispers in Bad Cap's ear, "Hell Hydra." Yeah. So I expect it to come back. I know I don't think they're in Empire. I think Empire is going to have to do with the god of the symbiotes. That's Kull.
Okay.
Kull or Null. Knull. Null.
I'm reading Jason Aaron's Avengers run right now, and it lightly touches on it a little bit in the fact that Captain America is still questioned.
That, and then in
Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America, which is fucking
I need
awesome.
to read this. I know we both read the first, and
I've
I
read the
enjoyed
second
the
one,
shit out of it.
and the third one just hit Hoopla now. Or
I'm gonna have to read it. I'm caught up on all the Immortal Hulks in Hoopla, and
I need to finish that.
They've gotten better as they've went on. I don't know
what. But like Tony Stark is. I think he's dead in this, or just an alcoholic. I don't know if he's back or not. I don't know what's going on with Tony Stark.
Well, again, they kind of cleaned it all up with the Cosmic Cube, so who knows?
Yeah, well, that's my other complaint though, because I really liked Black Widow's arc in this. I liked how dark she went. Cap went darker, and she went dark, and she went darker.
Like a spy,
and that's her
went
fucking
darker.
job.
Yeah.
And she was kind of protecting the kids, exposing them to the world, but at the same time protecting the younger heroes.
She was a good moment in that.
Yeah, and her ending, and Bucky played almost no role on this, but her arc, and I thought Sam Wilson's arc were very good in it, and I very much enjoyed those.
They've done a good job with Sam Wilson.
Yeah, they really have.
Years.
But when COVID or Kozar or whatever the fuck her name, the Cosmic Cube,
Kobik,
when she fixes everything, sends everything back, and they're like, "What we left the scars? Why?"
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Why leave Black Widow dead? Is it just for the movies?
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't. But and if that's the case, then bad for them, because.
But I mean,
the only thing that makes sense to me is leave the scars so you could leave so enough people remember.
To leave Vegas destroyed, but bring everybody back.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I lost my mom in a thing, and this girl's walking around that could have saved her, but didn't, I'm like, you're kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, you're not a very good, all-powerful deity or whatever you are. But so, what's your overall rating of the?
I give it a 3.5. I thought it was a pretty solid. I liked it because it was pretty self-contained. It is a 10-issue run, and I'm sure there was other issues that you could dive into if you really wanted to. But I got the overall story and understood who all the characters were for the most part without having to deep dive into a bunch of other Wikipedias on characters, or go try to figure out what spin-off issues I've missed out on and what the synopsis were of those spin-off issues. So I liked the fact that it was very well contained. I thought it was kind of depressing, and I think they wanted it to way more into the future of Marvel, but I think it was kind of a stinker from the beginning, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And they've it's almost...
There was issues delayed. There was a lot of problems.
And it's almost kind of like they just swept it under the rug and all right, let's go back to lighthearted stuff.
Well, that's what happens when you do event after event after event. When it misses, you got to deal with that.
Yeah. I think the fallout before this one was Civil War II, and I think that's where technically Bucky dies, I think. Roddy died.
I did not like
Rhodey
Civil War II.
I didn't read it
I did not like it. I didn't finish it. I'll finish it eventually. But let's transition off that one. I did ask you.
So you give it a 3.5. I give it a 4.
I give it a 3.
Okay.
And you gave it a 3.5. You said.
Okay, that's right. You're right.
Now, did you scan through Deceased?
I read the whole thing yesterday.
Well, let's finish with that.
Okay.
I'm going to bring up one Doomsday Clock. I read it.
That's The Watchmen, right?
It is The Watchmen. So it's written by Jeff Johns. For those that don't know, Jeff Johns has wrote almost every single thing DC has to offer, including a couple of really good ones like Infinite Crisis. Well, I guess that was good, but Blackest Night, which was really good. Drawn by Gary Frank, who also has drawn almost everything the comic industry has to offer. But my favorite things he's drawn was his run on Incredible Hulk and then the uber underrated Midnight Nation from Cup of Joe Comics, J. Michael Straczynski. That was a very good book. The right out of the gate, the interesting thing about this series was Dan Dido, at the time was co-publisher along with Jim Lee, head of DC. Those two were. He billed it as a direct sequel to The Watchmen, the direct sequel, the official. Jeff Johns did not like that.
Okay.
Jeff Johns says, no, this is my This is a DC story that involves a Watchmen character.
What did Alan Moore think?
Well, I think the reason Jeff Johns portrayed it that way is probably he has a lot of respect for Alan Moore, and he did not want to be a part of that fucking dumpster fire.
And those that don't know, Alan Moore hates anything that anyone does with his titles after he's done with it.
And anything that's not the written word.
Yep.
Hates
If
TV.
he didn't write it, it's garbage.
Yeah, he's a nut job.
Yeah.
But so this, I will say this. I'm going to give you my rating right out of the gate. It's 4 out of 5.
Really?
I
did not get good reviews either.
No, its metric score is like a combined 88.5 out of 10.
So should I go back and read it?
It's worth reading. Again, a lot of exposition, action very low. Here's what I liked about it. One, I thought they did. Now, they bastardized The Watchmen. I mean, that story should have been left alone, but it's DC's property, so they were going to do with it what they did. This was way better than the other thing they tried before.
Before Watchmen?
Yeah, and all that other stuff they did.
Yeah.
This was better than that. What I liked about it, though, is it was an entertaining and a very believable way of bringing them into the Watchmen universe. So what happened is Rorschach's book is published. Ozymandias is outed as a villain, and so his plan essentially fails.
Okay.
And he's even more hunted. Well, his whole goal, for those that don't remember The Watchmen, was to unite the world.
Yeah.
Well, it failed. So yes, he's a bad guy, so to speak, but his end game is perfect harmony. So he said
it didn't fail.
No, it failed because the world is not united. Because so they're more up in arms. They knew it was all a hoax and all. So he wants to. The only person that can fix it is Dr. Manhattan. He has no clue where Dr. Manhattan is, so he enlists the help of a new Rorschach and a couple of villains.
Okay.
And you learn later why they play a role in it too, to go find them. Well, Dr. Manhattan is in DC Proper's universe, and he's been there for a long time. Because he's all timelines at once.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason he's been there is because he can see every incarnation of the DC universe that's ever happened.
Okay.
And and so throughout this book, there's the cool trippy Manhattan stuff where he is seeing all parts of it. Well, the other thing that I liked about it was we've gotten, and I'm not going to go too deep in it, but I hate fucking DC metal and death metal, and
I didn't like any of it either.
I'm spoiler alert for those that don't know, the Batman Who Laughs is a very cool bad guy that come from a very shitty story. But they've ruined him now because he's now the Batman Manhattan Who Laughs. They've taken his brain and put it in Dr. Manhattan's body. So after I tell you everything I like about this, no DC fucks it up after the fact.
Of course they did.
But what I like about it, but because of metal and all this stuff, and for whatever reason, and I don't poop on Batman because at the end of the day, I almost always gravitate to Batman stories.
Yeah.
I love Batman stories. People have heard me say, I think Dark Knight Returns is the most seminal piece of comic book ever written. But I hate how much a focal point of the DC Universe Batman is and how important he is, just him.
Yep.
Because they want to make the man. Well, what this story does, it takes Superman, and the thing that is what attracted Dr. Manhattan to this universe and why all of its possibilities is at the core of all of them is Superman. And everything revolves around him because the one thing and he even says at one point in this is I never could do for my world what Superman does for his because I contain the one thing, or he contains the one thing that I don't have. And that's hope.
Conscience? Yeah.
Hope.
Okay.
Yeah. But the whole story culminates with him saying, to a moment to where Superman wakes up from a battle he has and goes to punch him, and he says, I can't see past this moment for some reason, so either you punch me and destroy me, or I destroy all reality. And when it gets to it, again, spoiler alert, Superman goes behind him and punches a thing that's trying to attack Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, even after all this, you saved me? And he goes, and so the reason the two villains are in this is because for whatever reason their kid is born and he can't, anything around this kid Dr. Manhattan can't see.
Oh, really?
So this is why it's all cloudy.
Okay.
And by the end of it, the kid is also, well, he names the kid Clark because he's so enamored with Superman, and the kid has the Manhattan symbol.
Okay.
So, but I'm not going to, since you're going to read it, I'm not going to spoil it much
that's
more.
okay.
It's got some very good moments. The comedian is back in it.
Oh, really?
And
Is he?
well, you have.
Whatever.
I'm not going to spoil.
It's comic books, so nobody's ever really.
No. It makes perfect sense how they
Okay.
bring him back, and then what happens to him.
Okay.
Because of Dr. Manhattan.
So
it's great.
you never watched the Watchmen TV show, right?
No, and I'm going to because there's some character names in this that eventually tie into the Watchmen TV show.
And I'm not gonna ruin anything for you because it is great and it's definitely worth watching. But
And it's done.
it's done. Like they're never gonna write another one. It was
Also-
I won't say never. The guy I forget. I'm blanking on his
David
name.
Lindelof.
David Lindelof said, "I'm done."
Yeah. And by the way, it not only did it rake in some Emmys,
Yeah.
it raked in all the Emmys
it's like
nominations.
26 or
26
something
Emmy
like that.
nominations.
Yeah.
So I'm going to check it out.
You gotta watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. And it plays off the comic book, so it's not the movie universe.
Yeah, it's a sequel
It's
to
a
the
comic
comic.
book,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so that's what's good about this Doomsday, because I went and looked. Some of the characters, like the Rorschach and some stuff,
Yeah.
is in the TV show.
Yeah.
So
And
it all
it's-
ties together.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching.
I will say this, though. Like I said, 4 out of 5. Very good story. Way better than I expected.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Yeah, I will. I'll put it on the list now. I've been reading, and I'm almost through it. They just released the new one this week, Avengers by Jason Aaron, like I mentioned earlier. I enjoy the hell out of this. It's super lighthearted. Again, like we talked about, Captain America's kind of questioning or being questioned by the world. I guess he never really shakes from his resolve, but he also, other people are trying to take the lead and, being in charge of stuff, and that's what I really like about it is that's what I got out of the last book is he doesn't want the world to rely on him. He's letting other people, be the leaders.
Well, I've only read the first trade paperback, so I got to catch it up to
Yeah.
do. But I'll tell you, I think we talked about it on this podcast. The surprise character that I liked the most out of it was Ghost Rider.
Yeah, the new Ghost Rider is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a modern poor take on Peter Parker. Like he doesn't know how to control his
He's if
powers.
a nice kid got the power instead
Yeah.
of being so dark and
Yeah. And this next run here that I haven't started yet, they're confronting him on how to control his powers, kind of
Yeah.
like a Hulk type thing. But what I'm enjoying a lot about it is also Blade's in this. And I didn't know shit about Blade in the actual comic book world.
yeah.
They brought him in because Jason Aaron brought vampires back to the Marvel Universe with Dracula and stuff. So that was a fun arc.
yeah, they go to Dracula's realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like, no, Dracula's been around, but there's a internal war between vampires
Oh, okay.
that spills back out into
I
our
just,
world. Oh, there's
I just know the scene where he said, "Welcome to the realm of vampires" or something.
Yeah,
so.
they've been around. I forget how they get back in. It doesn't matter. It's
I'll
a
read
lot
it.
of fun.
I'll read
It
it.
is a shit ton of fun, and the art
It's
by,
amazing.
it is Stefano Casilli and Dale Kino.
Yeah, so the
Kiwan,
same guy that
Dale
did War
Kiwan.
of the Realms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so much fun. It's just so lighthearted.
Oh, by the way, I did look up. It was Steve Epting and Ed
Okay.
Brubaker that did.
Yeah.
I knew it was Brubaker, but I couldn't remember if it was Epting or not. And I like Epting's art.
Yep. So we jumping into Deceased.
Yeah,
now?
let's go to Deceased because I'll give my review. And this is why I wanted to finish in this one.
I don't do a lot of DC. You know that.
Yeah, but this, I thought, the reason I recommended it to you because it was a 6-issue self-contained
Yeah.
story.
Easy,
And it
light read. I
not,
enjoyed it.
It did not feel like a DC story.
No, and it did not end the way I expected it to.
So spoiler alert, there was the Earth is ruined, and there is a follow up called I looked it up. The follow up was called Dead Planet. I've not read the follow-up.
I don't know if I want to.
I don't want to either because I'm going to get this out of the way. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah,
I fucking
enjoyed the hell
loved
out
it.
of it.
And here's what I loved about it. Oh, first off, it's written by Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor's famous for getting acclaim for that Injustice series, both Injustice 1 and 2, based on the video game.
Yeah.
The guy, which are also a lot darker. He also, and I don't know how many people have done this, he's also got on his credit and his resume, he wrote Star Wars for both DC or for both Dark Horse and Marvel.
Yeah.
And then drawn by very great artist Trevor Hairsine, who before this you might remember him from Ultimate Nightmare and Ultimate Six, and also you might remember him because he draws a lot like Brian Hitch.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about it was a very different take on two things: one, a zombie story, and two, the anti-life equation, which is the ultimate MacGuffin in the DC universe.
I didn't know much about that.
It's the thing that Darkseid knows it exists and has always been trying to get.
Yeah.
When you get the anti-life equation, you can remove free will from the world, from the galaxy.
So it's basically Thanos' Infinity Stones for DC.
Well, yeah, it's something that will allow him to control every single person. He don't want to kill them all. He wants to control them all.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is the first few pages, he gets it.
Yep.
But he combines it with Death, who is the Black Racer, and he fucks it up. And what he essentially does is he creates this techno-organic virus that adapts and only seeks out to expand and kill. And it starts with Darkseid. Well, let me rephrase it. It starts with Cyborg,
Yes.
who has the part of the missing piece of the anti-life equations in him. And
I don't know how that is, but
well, he's got Mother Box technology helped create
that's
it.
right, that's right.
So for whatever reason, it was hidden in him, and they find it out in some backstory that you never see take place.
Yes.
But he's normal. He's just carrying the virus. So what's cool about the virus is it's like a normal zombie virus, but then it also is broadcasted over the internet.
Yes.
And TVs and all that stuff.
So essentially, anytime you look at a screen,
You'll
you
get
go
it.
mad.
Yeah, and you become this zombie-like
Yeah.
creature. The cool thing is, again, I'm going to bring it back to Superman a little bit, and it's what makes this story so good, is Superman is so valuable and so needed
Yeah.
and such a hero in this. And again, you're going to get spoilers. When he falls and becomes
Yeah.
one, it's the most gut-wrenching part
Yeah.
of the story. But still not the scariest zombie infection.
No.
The Flash was.
Yeah.
Because they said, because in the blink of an eye, it can affect the population of the world.
Yeah.
That was amazing. But so set up the greatest moment we've ever seen in DC Universe. We've been waiting, possibly.
Superman v Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when they said you can't possibly catch him, he goes, I don't have to. And he so flies the opposite direction. And they said, what happens when the irresistible force meets him? And Superman wins it.
Yeah.
It kills Flash.
Yeah.
By flying headlong into him. But
Just
unfortunately,
blows his ass up.
yeah, unfortunately, one of his bones penetrates Superman's skin, so Superman becomes.
Yeah.
He says his goodbyes, and that's when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Because what's so awesome about it is they take the last remaining humans on Earth, and they try to get them out of here.
Yeah.
And on some
2 arcs.
a la Star
I think it was
Wars.
14 million humans or something.
Put them on 2 arcs and fly them to a new planet that'll work. And they can't get away from them if a Superman's infected.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman and the last group of crew has to go and try to stop him, and they do not succeed.
But I mean, like, it was cool because, like, Diana and Green Arrow, and they're fighting, and like
Oh, Green Arrow has a great moment where he shoots.
fuck, I'm blanking all of a sudden.
I can't remember who, and he goes, and Batman.
Aquaman.
He goes, and Batman thought I'd be worthless. I just
Yeah.
killed a king of Atlantis with a
On a
arrow.
Kraken.
Yeah, a Kraken, yeah.
He shoots him right through the eye in front of his wife.
Yeah, he goes in a tidal wave.
Yeah, in front of his wife, though. I was like, but what I liked about it was when they were talking about doing Superman, and not Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne says Batman had a plan for that. And he goes, of course he fucking did.
Yeah.
And there's some fun jokes with, like you were talking with the Green Arrow. He's like, he didn't have a plan for you. He's like, what? I can't be an ultimate badass. But when he's like, oh, we're going to turn this into a mist and slow him down. And Diana goes, no, Batman was the smartest man in the world, but he had his limits and he would never kill. And this moment calls for extreme. And I was like, that's awesome. And she turns into that sword.
Well, yeah, and that's great. But what's awesome is when she goes to confront Superman and he hits her.
Yeah.
And they the caption's awesome. They said all the heroes in the world thought they are something like they'd be ready, but they never thought they would meet Force unrestrained.
Yeah.
And they can't handle him because he's not restrained.
I mean,
And
she took his arm off and he still punched through her.
Yeah, and which leads to the end of it, which is awesome. But what was cool though is Diana becomes a Green Lantern, and
Yes.
because the Black Canary,
Canary.
becomes a Green Lantern.
And that was pretty cool.
It is awesome, and she's awesome.
Yeah.
And she ends up buying the time and saving the day and all that stuff. But then, spoiler, I mean, they do Superman. They reason with the virus. So it flies into the sun.
Yeah.
And in order to destroy everything in the whole this whole galaxy, Milky Way, absorbs all the energy in the sun. And they said, we got to get out of here, and so Cyborg is left on Earth. He doesn't go with them because he's carrying the virus.
Yeah.
But then he realizes that he also is carrying the cure when a zombie Wonder Woman just tears his head off and throws it away.
I was like, man, they did not pull any stops.
They did not hold
no
back,
hope
whatever.
for this one.
Yeah.
And that's what I did like about this, because, and I don't read enough to DC, but a lot of the stuff that I read are these one-off events that don't tie into anything in the regular DC universe. They don't try to tie it in. Maybe every once in a while they will later down the road.
And DC may do that too much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they do tell some great one-off stories, but sometimes they write them with no intent to ever tie in, and then 4 or 5 years down the road, they're like, oh, by the way, let's tie that in now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, every once in a while when it hits, it's like this.
But you don't have to, like, this version of Batman or this version of Superman is pretty standard no matter where it goes. Like for example, the first one we talked about with Secret Empire, like, there's no real explanation why Tony Stark is a fucking hologram in his old Iron Man suit until like 7 issues in, and it's just a one-off phrase. He's a drunk now, or is he dead? They would say both things. I don't really know, but yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of it. That was a lot of fun.
So what's your rating on it?
I give it a 4 out of 5 for sure.
And I was 4.5. I enjoyed it. It was one of the few surprises that I've gotten from Marvel or DC recently. And like I said, beautiful art, very well. So for you that don't know, in Dead Planet, Victor's head's still alive, and he has a beacon, and he sends out the beacon that he has the cure, and a band of heroes has to get together to go back. I may never read it, because it works too good. Yeah,
it does. The only part that I thought kind of got a little jumpy around was the Booster Gold and the Blue Beetle stuff. I didn't really understand why he faded away, but I didn't put too much work into it.
Because the virus fucked up the timeline, and Booster was by destroying Earth. Booster's never born. In the future, because he's from the far future.
He's from the future.
Way far future.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the only part that I was like, I gotta reach that.
Booster Gold's always been comedy relief, but so his character is a person in the future that steals his uniform and goes back in time. Steals his outfit. So
I think I do remember that. And then I liked John Constantine's.
He was awesome.
Yeah, his argument was a lot of fun.
And how he come back to help save the day.
Yeah, he's like, don't tell anybody I'm going to be a fucking hero.
All the magic users were very good in it, but when he was sitting there at the bar drinking, like, fuck.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Well worth it. So that's the 3 comics that we reviewed, but we're going to bring Missy back in now.
Yeah, she's ready to roll. Look at her.
The last thing we're going to talk about, and she doesn't need to know the review of the comic that we gave, which we gave it a high review, the Old Guard comic book.
I think we gave 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, it was very solid. But
I just reread it just because there was some stuff when I watched the movie that I was like, I don't remember.
We'll get a little bit into that too. But the next thing we're going to do is I made Tom, even though Tom watched it, I would not let him officially review the movie.
What did he rate it? I forget.
We didn't rate it.
Oh, he didn't.
I made it. I said we got to hold off.
I know you said we have to hold off.
Maybe he did rate it. I don't know, but I didn't rate it.
Yeah, I know you did.
Because I said, this was a story that you discovered, turned me onto. I've since turned like Dusty Dean onto it. Loved it. Yeah. Watched the movie, but he got to watch the movie before I did, and he texted me, and I said, well, I haven't watched it yet. He goes, oh, you're killing me.
This is a rare movie that I actually watched like if not the day it came out, the day after it came out.
We watched it on the Sunday. It came out on a Friday. We watched it on the Sunday. So the first thing I'm going to do, we'll get to our ratings here in a second, but Missy watched it with me. She had no expectations going into it.
Okay.
All she knew that it was Charlize Theron. It was a Netflix action movie. And that's where I want to start. This is as faithful an adaptation to a comic book as you're ever going to get.
Yes.
The one thing that they did a little different is they put a little more emphasis on the action, and it fucking worked.
It
perfect.
does. I was a little nervous because, what's her name? Gina. She's got 3 names. I have it pulled up.
The director who did
Gina.
Love and Basketball and all that
I
stuff.
was a little nervous because she
Never done
an action
superhero
film.
or action.
And this is her first foray into superheroes and first real foray into action movies, and she fucking killed
Knocked it out of the park.
choreography is spectacular.
What did you think about it?
I thought it was a great movie. That's all I got.
They did a well. So
I don't have as many words as you guys.
So
sorry.
for you though, for someone that didn't know it was a comic, what did you think about? Because it's a very ambiguous world they build. You don't know, like I told you along the way, you were like, so why are they immortal? And I go, we don't know.
If you would have never told me that it was a comic, I would have never known by the movie.
Yeah.
It's just
Which is fine.
It-
But knowing, if I never knew it was a comic, if you never told me it was a comic, and not knowing why they were immortal, that would have just pissed me off. But now that I know that it's a comic, apparently there's got to
They
be
don't
some sort of reason.
well.
Yeah.
So I haven't read the sequel yet. It's not
Me
done,
either.
and the trade paperback should be done soon, or should be out soon. And I want to read it because I want to see if Greg Rucka, who wrote it. Greg Rucka got famous for Whiteout, and Batman
He had a
and
Hulk run, too,
Hulk run, everything. He's a great writer. But I want to see if it was him that takes it in the direction of essentially,
The ending.
how the ending happened.
Yeah. So
And I'm not going to spoil it too much because it's new enough. People probably still haven't watched it yet. But
he wrote the screenplay for this.
yeah,
also.
he helped adapt it for the thing. So first thing I want to start with, we'll start with the cast. You had said that when we talked about the trailers, you were like, I don't know if Charlize Theron, how it's going to work.
I knew she'd do the action
She's great.
just fine.
She's great.
But I didn't know anybody around her.
But I can't stress enough. You and I talked about this before going into it. The scene in the preview that sealed it for me was the glance between the two gay characters.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, those two.
Yeah.
The guy that eventually was the plot twist. Even the bad guy.
Chadwick Boseman.
It was perfectly casted.
No, I'm sorry. It's Chitweli Ejiofor.
Yeah. Well, and not him, not that plot twist. I'm talking about the plot twist among the group.
Okay. Yeah.
That guy was awesome. It hurt me at the end because I thought his character was so great throughout the show.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, and I can't think of the name of the girl, but the black girl they got to cast the newest
Niall
member.
Freeman. Kiki Lane is her real name.
She's awesome.
Yeah. She was really
Say that
good.
name again.
Kiki Lane.
Oh, you said a whole bunch before
the
that. I
character's
was like,
name.
what the fuck?
The character's name is Niall Freeman.
Yeah.
The bad guy, Steve Merrick, is Harry Potter's cousin in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, the one that was a bully to
Yeah, the
him?
bully.
Oh, I'll be darned. I'll tell you this, and I told this to Missy as we were watching. There was I can't remember which scene it was, but there was one scene. Oh, it was when they were in the van where they took the two characters that are
Yeah.
lovers, and then the van. He word for word
Yeah.
recites the comic book.
So I did a little. I listened to another comic book podcast, and they dug a little deeper than I did, so they did the work for me at the Weekly Planet. But Greg Rucka, when he signed on with Netflix, said, "When I write this scene has to be in the movie. I will not water this scene down."
Best scene in the comic, best scene in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it like gives you goosebumps, like the way they talk and everything, and and then they cut away from the violence, and when they do in the comic, and which makes it even better. Yeah, I thought it was spectacular.
Well, let's give our review a rating on it. I'm going to let Missy start since she's the non-comic book voice of us.
I would say, because I'm not usually that into action movies, and I'm not usually into comic book movies.
As a whole, there's some
As
that
a
have hit 'em.
whole, I mean, there's been some that I liked. I would give it a 4.
4 is a solid score from you. What did
Yeah.
you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I give it a 5.
5 out of 5.
It's a 5 out of 5 for me because it could have easily been a 2. And it hit every button it hit. It's a franchise that Netflix has, and I feel like when Netflix gets a franchise, it's a special thing. See Stranger Things, see Ozark,
take out the comic book aspect. Would you still give it a 5?
Oh, I love the movie. I love the story. I love the story. I love the characters that they built. So to compare it to another movie that is a comic book, but you don't need to know anything about the comic book, the John Wick series, I think they work so well because there's so much vagueness to the world that's there.
Yeah.
And this show for Netflix, or this movie for Netflix, does the same thing for me. And the thing they do that sets up the next bad guy for the sequel, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming either.
That was awesome.
And
that was not in the comic. That's probably what the next one's about.
Let's put a pin in what time frame.
I got plenty of time. This is
what time is it now? Because we can do spoilers. That way, if anybody hasn't watched it, they can say stop here.
Okay, so probably as you're looking at this at the 45-minute mark, you want to not listen from here on out.
Yeah.
Come back in at the 52-minute mark.
So
you guys are gonna talk that short.
Well, we're gonna go into other things.
Yeah, but so couple
Wait a
things.
minute. Since you threw that at us, 55-minute mark.
Yeah.
I still think that's short.
The couple things that dropped it down for me are one, Booker's speech to Niall when Charlize Theron asks him, like, explain to her why you want to stay away.
They shortened that. They did.
And they shortened it. And in the comic, his son is old, and he doesn't want to die.
Hates him.
And he hates him.
That had more of an impact.
And then they gave him cancer and let him die young. And I thought it was weak.
I got a feeling that was thematically for a movie to allow the emphasis be on the van scene.
Yeah. And then also, I guess they were thinking, like, it'll hit harder if it's a child dying and he can't do anything.
Yeah.
But I thought, and the other thing was, I wish they would have gave Charlize Theron her love story. Like, her love story in the comic is good.
It is.
It's very enjoyable.
And they hint on it, but they don't really go into it.
And maybe they'll go into it in the next movie or something.
They got time.
Yeah. But it was very good. I went back and reread it because I didn't remember the antagonist at the end. And she is literally a box in the comic. Like, it is.
That's it.
She falls into the ocean and she's never seen again. And it was during the explanation of we don't know why we're immortal. Sometimes we just fall and never get up.
Yep.
And that was it. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Boy, I tell you this, though, in the movie, they really made you feel, give you the heebie-jeebies on that.
Yeah, I was like, nope, that's, of all the ways to go, that is the one that I don't want to fucking do.
Missy's saying pick a beer.
We don't have much. I don't know, but
I'll give it a shot.
All right, well, then I'm going to give this other one a shot, too, because I'm drinking a coffee right now.
Yeah. No, man, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm all in on the second one. And apparently they're going to film it as early as the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Rucka said that he doesn't have anything solid, but as long as they'll invite him, I read an article today. If they'll invite him back, he's all in.
They should. I mean,
why wouldn't
one thing Netflix is very good at is finding a person and let them take charge of a property.
Yeah,
let them just go.
The other thing I read today, prepping for this, was this is the first action movie, or first movie ever, and first action movie also to have 85% of the production crew be women.
Yes, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
It was a woman director, woman producer, the head of VFX.
You know what? I remember this. I remember this coming out when, like, I don't know, remember what.
Also, didn't love Charlize Theron's hair, but
I thought, well, it really did it for me. The dark hair. I mean, I don't
have dark hair, but
was it the shortness?
Yeah,
I married a dark-haired woman.
She's had short hair for a very long time.
I know. I just like it when it's longer.
I think she's the one of the people that can pull off short.
No, I absolutely. She could shave her head. She pulls it off.
I'm such a fan, and I think Charlize Theron's so hot that she could do whatever she wants.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to tell you this: of all the hotness that she's been in life, I don't think she's ever been hotter than that Seth Rogen President movie because she was naughty in that too.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she was super hot as Eileen Wuornos.
Yeah. Oh man,
I never watched that.
Yeah, that was where she was a serial
monster.
killer. Yeah.
Also, going back to that though, the axe. They fucking nailed the axe.
They brought it in
100% on the axe.
So can't recommend this movie enough.
It was good.
Netflix.
If you're a female and you don't like any action,
My wife Rachel really dug it. She was like, "It's a comic book movie." I'm like, "It is, but it's not." you don't need to know anything going in. And she's like, why are they immortal? I'm like, nobody knows. She goes, that's annoying. Are you just being annoying? I'm like, no, we don't know.
I'll tell you what's amazing about Netflix is so they started out with their original movies like that Spectrum movie, that sci-fi movie or something.
Yeah.
And their series have always they've been serious about, but their movies have always been like drive-in movies.
Yeah.
They've
stepped it
I
up.
can't put my finger on what point it turned, but with Spencer Confidential, with The Irishman, with they've got
I didn't watch The Irishman.
well, it's 4.5 hours of your life you'd never get back, I think. But they've got that new movie coming out,
Project Power.
which is the most
Jamie Foxx?
Well, that looks good, but they've got another movie that I can't remember who's in it, but they just announced it that it's the most expensive movie they've ever done, a $200 million movie.
Holy
Netflix?
shit.
Yeah, Netflix
Damn.
does.
That was $70 million for this. I looked it up.
Yeah, the $200 million. I want to say it's like Shia LaBeouf or someone is in it. You just Google most expensive Netflix movie.
I
and
will.
you-
But staying in on that next one, have you watched the trailer for?
Project Power. I shared
with
it
Jamie Foxx?
I shared it on our Facebook page. It's,
I deleted Facebook. We can get into that in a minute.
well,
What?
spoiler alert! Throw it to Missy's going to have Bender deleted Facebook, and I got a feeling.
I've actually contemplated this recently
I
myself.
got a feeling I can probably piggyback on why he deleted it with some of the things that I've been reading of late. With that political blog that I was invited to.
Anyways, that movie was awesome, and everyone should watch it. I'm trying to find it now, so fill in some time for me.
Well, you're doing great. Well, so that said, as we bring up the most expensive Netflix movie ever, we will go ahead and throw it to Missy, and I will start.
No, I'm not prepared. I didn't even think I was doing this tonight.
If you got to let me finish, I will start with some things that Missy can talk about. So Missy and I have watched a handful of movies of late. One, not a new movie by any stretch, but it's a movie, and I had to explain this to my daughter, that it was past my time to watch this.
Yeah. We
and
were
I
too
never-
old.
and never had any kids until now, and that was Good Burger. I never watched
With Kenan Thompson.
Kenan
Yeah,
Thompson.
Kenan and Kel.
Kenan and Kel.
Whatever his last
But
name
Good
is.
Burger is a very high regarded kids movie.
Is it?
Oh, it's super big
It's
following for it.
Nickelodeon.
One of Nickelodeon's most famous.
But it was at that time when, like, they were pumping out crap.
But it's one that cut through and has a big cult
It's a-
following and
yeah,
is
it's a cult
considered one of their
classic.
most successful movies. So what we did is we went and got some Wahlburger meat, which is amazing from Deerberg's. If
Never
you can go
had
get
it.
It's
should
great.
eat it.
It's the best hamburger you'll cook at
I'm
home.
sorry, I was doing this and that. What?
The Wahlburgers hamburger
Wahlburgers.
meat you can buy at Deerbergers. It's the best hamburger meat
no,
you'll buy.
just Deerbergs. Just
Deerbergs.
Deerbergs.
Wahlburgers
Well,
and
for the
Deerbergers.
purpose of this, they are for Deerbergs, and
Yeah.
it's a great. So I told
Okay. I was just
Hayden.
there today. I'll have to pick it
Hayden
up.
said, "Can we have Wahlburgers tonight?" And I said, "I'll tell you this: we'll have a Good Burger while watching Good Burger. How about that?" So we watched it. So, and I gotta tell you, I enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
And that,
I didn't realize how young they were. I mean, I get it when I think back and look of when it was made. They were kids. They were.
yeah.
Well, Keenan's been on SNL for like 13
He's the longest
Longest
running.
running-
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Keenan, you could tell, hadn't.
He was young.
Yeah.
He still had a
Teenagers look.
like a teenager's voice. Like it wasn't his male like man voice that he has now.
So, is Vera too young for it?
No, she might like it. It's good,
Okay.
especially with
It's totally Nickelodeon. There's nothing inappropriate.
No, I didn't
Especially-
say it was inappropriate. I just didn't know if like the comedy was like
no. Kel,
middle
she will laugh
teenage-
at Kel.
Okay.
Because he's goofy.
She likes
Okay.
Grumpus. Why wouldn't she like anything else? Or
Krampus.
Krampus. Grumpus.
Grumpus is Patton Oswalt's dog.
Yeah.
But the other two movies we watched, and we'll just hit on them real quick, give real good. But that we watched them because they were connected by a singular actor.
Uh-huh.
The first one we watched was the #1 movie in America last week, and that's The Rental, directed by Dave Franco, starring his wife.
So glad we watched something about a rental before we're going to
Going
a
to
place
VRBO.
where we rent
Yeah.
a place.
And you made me want to watch this, and I didn't know anything about it.
Starring Allison Brie, Dave Franco's wife. Jeremy.
his wife?
Yeah, I
For
didn't know
sure,
it
man.
either.
Are you serious?
I didn't know it either.
Listen, y'all.
God damn, that's
It was
a
a
good-looking
very short, like they didn't date a long time,
The
and it was
good-looking
kind of
son of
couple. It'll be
like
over eventually.
no, like they've been together a while now, but before they got married, they got married quickly, and it was like real low key.
They don't.
That's
have
why
any kids,
people
right?
and that's why people don't know about it.
Yeah,
Good for them.
that's why they might
That's-
work, because
yeah,
they didn't.
good for them.
And So
He can't let her go. How many
know-
more actresses or women out there are going to be as little as Dave Franco is?
I know James Franco takes a lot of shit for being a little disgusting here and there.
Yeah.
But the fucker is smart and talented.
Oh, Dave Franco is dreamy, though.
Dave Franco is the better looking version, and maybe he's not as good as a writer or director. Maybe. This movie's fucking great, but he got the better look. So let's assume James Franco is a solid 9 out of 10 in creative, and Dave is only a 7.
Yeah.
Well, he's a 10 out of 10 in looks, and James is like a 4 out of 10 in looks.
That's like stale cereal.
Yeah, Missy took a drink of the beer sauce shop Cherry Bomb. I like it.
I have not had it yet.
I didn't know I'm drinking a beer you never had.
I'm not because I'm not. This was given to me from my Beer It Forward. And I've just never did it.
It's like a weird. It's like a sour fruity pebbles
I like it.
with sour.
It's not the
sour
worst.
milk.
I wish I would have saved like stuff like this is what I like when I'm cutting the grass and like you're hot.
It's not bad at all.
Like when you get done cutting the grass, man, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
No, when you get done cutting the grass, you have a beer shower, and it's usually like
Missy likes beer
Founders
showers.
All Day IPA. Or,
That's Missy. Beer showers are Missy's favorite thing.
Yeah.
Have you not had a beer shower ever in
I
your
have
life?
beer showers all the time.
So,
Jeremy, I don't know. Have you?
plenty of times. I just haven't had
Why do
any.
you
in
make
the-
fun of me?
I don't make fun of you. I just like that you like it so much.
I
It
have
cracks me up.
small children, and the shower is one of the few places that I get to escape without anyone fucking bothering me.
I think
So
recently.
I drink in the shower all the time.
I think recently, since COVID hit, I think I've had a beer coffee,
Yeah,
which is glorious.
yeah.
I'm contemplating beer wine.
What's beer wine?
What are you talking?
I mean, shower wine
Oh,
and shower
yeah, okay,
coffee. Sorry,
shower
did I say
coffee.
beer
Yeah,
wine?
you-
I
Sorry.
thought you meant like drinking coffee and beer
No.
at the same time.
No.
I haven't, but
No,
I'm not a
shower coffee and shower wine. Sorry.
When your shower wine is just your fucking fancy.
Yeah, just fucking chug from
you,
the
You are
bottle.
not allowed to have a shower wine unless you have the side sprayers also.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fancy.
Well,
We do
yeah.
not. She says I've got to put in a new shower and do that.
Yeah.
But back to this. So the rental it was a brand new movie.
Okay.
Number one movie. It's only like a $6 rental too, but it
I'll
was the
have to check it out.
box office winner. Lip from Shameless, Jeremy something. I can't
I
think of
don't
his whole
know.
name. He's in it. He's great. And then one of the other main guys in it. Also, the next movie we're going to talk about was in it. But anyway, this is a thriller.
It's a horror thriller, right?
This is a horror thriller, and it's a fucking good one, and it does
It's
everything
no.
right.
What it is fuck with your head.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. There's
'Cause there's
adultery
nothing-
going on.
There's nothing horror or thriller about it. In my opinion, it creeped me out,
Yeah, it's a scary movie.
but it was
Yeah.
more psychological. For
Yeah,
me.
Did you
psychological
see
thriller.
The dinner party. I think.
Yes.
Yes,
we
yeah.
watched
Where
it.
like everybody goes to, and
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
ex-wife's there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then at the end, everyone. Spoiler
yeah.
alert. Then there's the red light at the end. Like
Yeah.
they put a red lantern.
Yep.
That shit fucked with me. Man.
I wish I would have known that. Would have
So
put a red
the-
light in your.
yeah.
The good so movies like that, movies like Strangers, and movies like this, any movies that's possible, and
Yeah.
this movie's 100%
like
possible.
VHS.
Yeah.
Me, VHS is not possible.
The story where people get killed in the hotel room, that is
Okay,
highly
yeah, okay, that
possible.
part of it. But like these kind of movies scare the shit out of Missy. The good
Scare the shit out of me. That's why I usually don't watch them.
but this one's and it's Dave Franco's directorial debut. And
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
He
I
hits
like
it out
Dave.
of the park.
It's really
Hits it out of the
good.
park. And so because of it, I've heard good things about the movie The Guest, which is on Netflix now. And one of the couples, the guy in this movie, is the bad guy
I'm looking it up.
is the bad guy in The Guest, and it takes a turn at one point to where you're
He's
like
creepy as fuck.
well, so so The Guest is about a guy that comes back from the military to this family, and he was friends with
I know what
their
you're talking
son that died. And I'm not gonna give you spoilers, but at one point it gets off the highway and jumps onto a super soldier story, like
really?
experiments from the military. But somehow it works. Somehow it works. And the girl, the star from It Follows, is the girl in this.
Oh, okay. That was a good movie, too.
Boy, It Follows was really good. Well, this is a good movie. So I suggest if you get in a mode in a week.
Oh, the rental was better, I feel.
Yeah, the rental's superior, but the rental and the guest, because it involves one of the same actors, both good movies, though. Both worth watching.
And
Dan Stevens, is that the guy?
Yes.
And you will notice that he is foreign because when he uses his
American
accent, his lips move weirdly.
And I will say this.
That's how you know when someone's foreign.
He does some cool shit in The Guest. For instance, he goes, the son of the family gets picked on by the jocks.
Mm-hmm.
So he finds out that there's a bar that the jocks are allowed to drink at underage. So he takes the son and he orders a traditional Fireball, not the fucking
Yeah.
Shot.
woo-hoo,
Yeah.
titties
Yeah.
out Fireball that the world likes now.
He's out Fireball.
You know how young
I get it, I get it.
rednecks and stuff do. But he orders a traditional, which is creme de menthe and Tabasco sauce.
Okay.
And he gets it.
Gross.
He gets it, and he goes, "You want to try it?" And the boy tries it, and so he does something cool. He goes, "Also, I want to order 4 blowjob shots for those girls over there." And the bartender's like, "Well, man, that's probably not a good idea because of the guys they're with. You might want to send them a drink too." He goes, "Oh, okay. 4 Cosmopolitans for the guys." And he goes, "I would do a beer." And he goes, and he puts down $100 bills. And he goes, "I think I want to do the Cosmopolitans." And then he gets his shot. Well, the boy takes the drink of the creme de menthe and Tabasco sauce, and he's like, "Oh, that's awful." And he takes a big drink, and he goes, "How do you do that?" And he goes, "Just, you learn to." He goes, "You get used to it, and then you like it." Well, when the jocks come up and clearly are insulted by the Cosmopolitan and throw their drink in her face, he takes the creme de menthe and Tabasco sauce and throws it in the guy's face, and it blinds him because it's Tabasco sauce.
that makes
That's
sense.
the whole reason.
Yeah.
And then it's almost superhero-like how he beats people's ass in this
Right.
movie.
It
is, so it's worth watching. You'll get a kick.
'Cause see,
It'll tickle all those notes.
You're more muscular than he is, essentially.
No, he's ripped. Remember, he comes out of the bathroom. He's pretty.
Okay.
Hey, you, Bender.
I've lost some muscle mass
I'm
since
not
COVID.
insulting you.
I get it.
But he's kind of dreamy.
Yeah.
I can tell you, your biceps are bigger than his.
Yeah.
Hard to say because he's on TV.
Well, it should add 10 pounds, so he's
Let's-
probably littler than
Let's
Heather.
stay on the Dan Stevens train, and I will. Is that what his name is?
Vance.
Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens.
Oh, Dan Stevens. Okay.
Fans.
And he's also got a Netflix movie called The Apostle that I watched. I talked about
Oh,
it before.
yeah,
and if
Dan's-
you haven't watched it,
This is the same guy?
No,
Same
Dan
guy.
Stevens did The Guest, right?
yeah, Dan Stevens is the guest.
Oh yeah, and okay, that's it.
So
okay.
he's the crazy soldier, right?
Yes.
So he also did a movie called The Apostle where he is going to search for his sister or his girlfriend in like this weird pilgrimy type village where they worship a witch. And it is
I saw that
fucking
trailer.
wild.
I saw that trailer,
It
yeah.
is wild and
Should
creepy.
we trip acid while we watch
No,
it?
but it's worth watching.
Maybe some edibles.
But what you should trip acid and watch is the show that I watch with him. I'm obsessed with, and I'm finishing it now, and it's Legion, and I fucking love it.
Oh, you loved Legion, yeah.
From season 1 to season 3, each season has been insane
What's
and
that on?
ridiculous. FX.
No, I mean now that it's done, is it on any?
It's on Hulu.
Oh, I'll watch
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Is it something I would like? Does Rachel
No,
watch it? Okay.
Rachel. I was watching an episode last night, and they're dealing with time demons, and he's fighting time demons, and everything keeps he keeps trying to fight him, and it goes back, and he keeps trying to fight him, and it goes back, or they're having a conversation, and it clicks back, and it's always like a, and like every couple minutes there's like, and Rachel's like, "What the fuck are you? Why? I can't stand this." Like it's so weird and so awesome. I love it so much.
I
That's
will
'cause you're
check it out.
weirdly
I'll
awesome.
check it out.
Yeah.
I'm almost
appreciate
caught.
it.
I think I'm about to start season 6 of Scrubs as I'm watching through Scrubs on on Hulu.
Yeah.
And
My-
this is probably my 4th time watching Scrubs complete
Yeah.
through the Zach Braff
He
episode.
also just completed Community,
Community. I rewatched Community
you go.
as a
and
whole.
we are currently watching The Office.
Yeah.
I suggest as a couple you guys watch, and there's only 2 seasons, and there is technically 3, but 2 are on Hulu, and I assume the other one's probably on AMC or BBC America. But Killing Eve, I think you would dig it.
Oh,
said
yeah, that's,
BBC
that's
America,
Sandra
and
Oh, right? Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh is
American
a
cast.
MI5 agent, and she's hunting down a Russian assassin who is a female who is a straight up fucking psychopath, and
Well, we can do that.
they are obsessed with each other in weird sexual, non-sexual ways. Like Sandra Oh's obsessed with her because she can't figure out how she works, and the serial killer is obsessed with her because she's the only person. Sandra Oh's the only person who's ever gotten close to her, and she's also sexually attracted to her. And it's
okay.
fucking
That's chick on chick
wild.
sex. I'm in.
Yeah,
I bet
it
you
is
are.
wild. There's no real chick on chicks, but it is wild. It's worth watching. And I have a complaint also that
Oh.
HBO Go is gone now.
It's HBO Max now.
But I watch all my stuff through Amazon and Roku, and they have not signed a contract together. So I got no fucking access to HBO now, and I am super pissed because I finally started watching Barry. Season 2.
Is it great?
Season 2, I watched 4 episodes in a row, and now I can't fucking watch it.
Tom didn't like season 2 as much as 1. I think it's even better.
I was enjoying the fuck out of
You
it.
have a phone.
I can't.
HBO
It's
Max
not-
is
no,
on there.
I
Dude,
can't. But then I
it's
gotta
not-
pay for it, and I'm too.
No.
Oh, that's the problem. You just don't. Go's
And I also
gone, so
don't-
you don't want to get Max.
And I
yet.
don't want to watch it on my phone. I want to
know.
watch it on the fucking TV. I guess I could throw it onto my TV.
You can
probably.
get it,
Throw it.
or your Roku. I mean,
No, Roku and Amazon Fire are in contract negotiations and arguments with HBO
Maybe
Max.
that's why I couldn't get it. Like,
That's why you can't
we
get
just
the app.
no, we have
listen.
AT&T TV, and it's on there. They advertise it on there.
Well, I
Oh.
can't sign in
Because
through-
she doesn't have Max. It's a completely separate account. She has to end her Go account and create a Max account.
No, you
Or you have to just
go
transfer it over.
Like you go to Go and they say Go's gone. Go to Max. And if you have Roku or
Or AT&T TV,
Fire
AT&T
TV.
TV, it's on there.
yeah,
It's on there.
that's what you'll have to do.
Yeah.
And it's like
I've
14.
tried.
You can still log into your regular HBO. But if you want the Max stuff, which you'll get like the DC shows and
Well,
you'll
I
get a
gotta-
couple other like
Yeah.
Max things, you got to pay $14.99 a month for that.
I gotta
More
ask.
importantly, you get the Zack Snyder cut coming soon.
I'll pay for it for that.
3, yeah, and it's everybody. I can't wait. Go
I
ahead.
got it. I mean, at this point,
Gotta
you
see it.
have to fucking watch
Gotta
it.
see it, yeah. But what were you saying?
No, I gotta ask: does HBO do they like realize when someone's trying to log in from a different device?
They have a limit.
It's a
I think
limit,
it's like
yeah.
six devices
That
or
may be
something.
the issue.
Well, you can ask her. Not that we advocate that kind of stuff.
I just want
mean,
to
that's what
watch
I do.
one documentary
Let's-
on HBO. That's
let's
all I
move-
wanna
let's
do.
move
I wanted
on,
to
though.
watch that new Perry Mason show.
I do too. I hear it's great. But let's move on to TV real quick.
Okay.
We've only done 2 new shows, I think. One is we watched the Fear City Mafia versus New York on Netflix.
I feel
Worth
like
watching.
I think
Is it a documentary?
Yeah,
yes,
3-part.
it's 3-part.
All right, I'll watch a 3-part.
Yeah,
documentary.
and there's going to be a sequel because they only get you up to before Gotti,
okay.
and I gotta feel like they're
Well,
going to have to do.
don't you think Jersey has to have some sort of?
Well, that was all the same. They all ran it the same. Those were the 5 families. Some of those families from Jersey. I did not know there was a mafia board, like a Supreme Court, like the
Yeah.
commission. Like the head of the 5 families were the commission. The commission not only set the rules for the mafia in New York, but for the entire country.
Yeah, the whole.
You've
Yeah.
you've seen that kind of stuff in movies, though.
Yeah, but that's movies.
Yeah.
And like I told Missy too, what's so great about it is it's entertaining. It's very entertaining and very informative. And what's cool is that they actually have the guy that posed as a cable repairman to go in and plant the bugs. He's in it.
Oh,
the
that's
cops
cool.
the guy that literally arrested the head of the whole thing, pulled him in. I can't think of his name because it's an Italian name and they're all Italian names.
Yeah.
At one point with the gasoline tax scam, Michael Francia was making $8 million a week.
Holy shit.
A week. But there's just so much cool stuff. But what I think is so great about it is we've been conditioned for years to know what a mafia guy looks like because of movies.
Yeah.
The way they talk because of movies, the way they dress because of movies. And it's all accurate.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's 100%
Oh,
on.
I know.
It is dead nuts on to
What's
what
the
those guys act
little
like.
one's name?
Joe Pesci?
Yeah, he's the one. I read somewhere that he was in, like, for his lifestyle when he was younger was kind of in that
He was
world.
running numbers and things
And
like that.
so-
Wasn't it
he-
Paulie Walnuts was a legit mafia hitter or like strongman for a while from The Sopranos?
Oh yeah, I think so. He was like some sort. He was
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
he
insane.
went to prison for it.
It's insane. It's insane how accurate they pull it off.
If you like that stuff, you should listen to season 1 and season 1 only because, as far as I know, there's only 2 seasons, and the second one is a political crime. But there's a podcast called Crime Town,
Oh, I know what it is.
and season 1 that's what it's about. It's about it's out of Providence, Rhode Island, about this like last big Don, like big Don, and it's fucking great. And they have all these interviews and shit, and everybody's got like this fucking East Coast accent. It's awesome, man. It's hilarious.
Speaking of great TV, and we've spoke on this podcast, and I've gave you a good recommendation for Stumptown with what's her name?
Kobe
Smulders.
Kobe Smolder.
yeah.
Yeah, but I have a blind version of that, which is on Netflix. I think it's
Daredevil?
from the CW. It's called In the Dark.
In the dark.
Okay.
She's kind of the same character, Colby Smulders' character from Stumptown.
She's not
except
wanting
she's
to
blind.
be a PI, but she is.
But she's trying to solve a crime, and it is great.
Where do you guys have older kids, so you have more time. They
Yeah,
do
we
their
don't.
own
Those
thing.
kids go do their own thing all day.
That's fucking awesome.
But In
be
the
there
Dark,
soon.
In the Dark it's very good. You can watch season 1 and season 2 on Netflix right now.
Okay.
It's a
only
CW
not-
I
show.
saw it pop up. I saw it
Yeah.
pop up. It's
It's
in
a
the
s-
top 10 or something.
Yeah,
It's a CW show, and it's in the top 10 because the second season just came
but
out.
it's not a CW show in a sense that it's not a fucking CW show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not teenage melodrama.
Oh, there's a lot of
Man,
sex.
There's a lot of CW shows that I dig. Like I dig the shit out of some iZombie, and it is corny as fuck, but I love it.
Well, this is.
And I love Riverdale, and that's a CW show.
Yeah, but that's the one I was referring to when it said it's not in that vein. But
I
this
watched
is,
a couple seasons of The 100, and that was pretty good.
so this is Mason Murphy is the name of the character.
Murphy Mason.
Or Murphy Mason. Her name in real life is Perry something.
Mason,
No.
Yeah.
But she's very believable as a blind girl. She's very pretty.
She's
so you
very
can,
pretty.
and she's very tall, so you can see why she's appealing to people. She gets nailed a
She
lot.
has very
in this.
sexy lips and has dimples. Man, if I was a lesbian, she would
what
totally.
is it? In the what?
In the Dark. And there's,
That makes sense.
There's just some good characters in this. The cop in this, you've seen him in other stuff. I really like
he's from
him.
Felicity.
Felicity, yeah. He's really nice. I like her roommate, who I made the racist joke that it's great that America Ferrera has found other work because she kind of looks.
she's
She's
just
like a light version of America Ferrera.
Well, she's shorter and thicker.
and she's a lesbian, and she's a lesbian and has a smoking hot girlfriend. There's a Jason Schwartzman clone that's in this.
Okay.
And he's actually, for a guy that's
I
supposed
see
to be
him.
annoying, he's entertaining. I mean, it's a good show. It's worth watching. Very worth watching. And it all involves a mystery of a friend of hers dying or not dying. And that's all season 1's about. So I can't wait to see what season 2's about.
Yeah. If you like stuff like that, yeah, she's very pretty.
Yeah.
If you like stuff like that, and her roommate does look like America Ferrera.
Yeah, I know. I'm not.
If you like that stuff, you'll dig Killing Eve. It's super fucking weird. And
So I do have some quick hits after this, though. But I want to see if you have any throw it to Missy stuff you want to bring up.
I don't think so. I think my biggest complaint was the fact that I can't watch HBO Max. I did watch.
No, your throw it to Missy segment was how you quit Facebook.
All right, well, let's
you're
finish
right,
on
you're
how
right,
you
you're
quit
right, you're
Facebook.
right.
Here's the miscellaneous things I have in the Throw It to Missy segment. Apparently, it's now, do you smell what the cacao is cooking? Because The Rock just bought the XFL.
Yeah, that was the thing that I forgot.
Might save the XFL and the STL.
From according to Twitter, the Battlehawks are still
Do you
around.
I just have a question. Is Dwayne Johnson?
Awesome.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Dreamy?
Does
No.
he have more money than Vince McMahon?
300. No.
No.
Vince McMahon's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Give or take how the world is doing. The Rock, I looked up earlier today, depending on what sites you read, is anywhere from $250 to $320 million. Nothing to sneeze at. Nothing.
Really, I feel like that's low.
But here's the
Go
thing.
look up celebrities.
Vince
That's
McMahon.
massively high.
Vince
I feel like
McMahon
that's
just
low for what he
has
does.
to. He just has to put on a TV show a few times a week, right? Like he's sitting back making a couple decisions, and
Oh, he's
people.
making all
no,
the
he
decisions.
makes
No,
all the
right.
decisions.
But Dwayne
The Rock
Johnson
works for his money.
He works fucking hard.
Well, but Vince also worked hard and built this empire from stealing it from his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, he worked his butt off to get where he's at. But The Rock, you're right. Rock works his ass off. You'd think he'd be worth more than that. I mean, he's worth a little. I think, depending on what you read, he's in Joe Rogan. But that's like when people look at celebrities, you'd be amazed how many celebrities are worth like $4 million.
Yeah.
300 million is a fucking massively well. I looked up Shaq. Shaq's in that vein.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's anything to sneeze at. That's not at all what I'm saying.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm just saying he does in non-COVID times 4 to 6 movies a year.
And he's the
You
highest
think
paid
he's
actor in the world.
$20 million at a movie at
But
any
you got to
given
think
time.
is how much goes to his agent, how much is
That's
tax.
true.
Oh,
But
and
then
he's got a 2 baby mamas.
Does he? And he's got the tequila. He's got like some lifting gear, some clothing.
Oh, yeah,
lines
the
and stuff
gorilla-
like
Well,
that.
his clothing, his clothing line and his lifting stuff is all Under Armour.
Yeah.
He
Oh, okay.
partners with
So
Under
the
Armour, so they're
sponsorship.
fitting the bill on that. But
He's also got that tequila that he promotes
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, I mean, he's
He's a good Instagram follow.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
he needs to run for president. Is what he needs to do.
I don't think we need another.
Oh,
We don't
dude,
need Kanye.
Dude, are you going to
President.
vote for Kanye tomorrow?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know you are.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that here. We're gonna get to politics here in a second. I got a feeling. It might be a little spoiler alert. A couple other things I want to talk about. I did want to say Nerdcast Jay gave us a topic to talk about, so I'd be remiss if I didn't.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, it's not much to talk about, but he sent a text, and I looked the girl up on Facebook. Look her up, Brianna Jade. When you see the one that I'm
That
talking
just
about,
sounds like
you'll
a
know.
porn
Is he a
star.
porn star?
Could be, but here's what she said on Twitter and Facebook. If I can breathe with my face pressed against a mattress while getting pounded, I think you can breathe through a few pieces of fabric for 5 minutes while in public.
I mean, she's not wrong.
She goes, quit being a bitch. But when you look up
mean,
Brianna
that's
Jade, she
that's
has she'd be hot if she didn't turn down the Trailer Park Road.
Okay.
She's
I'm gonna
overly
look her up.
tattooed and overly pierced at every spot you could get. But I thought it was funny, so I figured we should bring it up. Before we get into the Facebook thing, and we're going to go long this episode, let's get into something else that'll irritate you guys. If you're still a member of the St. Louis Beer Enthusiasts, I don't know if you are.
Well, I'm not on Facebook, so I don't fucking know.
So on Facebook, someone posted a thing about his friend on a bachelorette party getting kicked out of Good News Brewing in Defiance, their bigger location, their newest
Okay,
location,
okay.
because they refused to serve her because she was black, is what this person said. And this is a white guy who posted this, and he went hard in the paint. And every single person, including me and Nerdcast Jay, said this is bullshit. I even said I've drank with people of color and minorities at Good News Brewing. I don't believe this. And this guy was like, "Why would I post it if it wasn't true?" And some people posted convenient things like little hands holding the word attention and said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
And I mean, this is why you post it. Well, this guy, so even the owner of Good News got in here and it got into the thread, and he said, "Here's what happened from our perspective. This group came in inebriated, a bachelorette party, which we understand that we sometimes give allowances for that.
yeah.
They also smuggled White Claws into the bar, which is not allowed.
Yep.
And two girls, the bachelorette and her friend, who in question is the black person, ordered. Both were drunk, and I refused to serve them because they were too drunk. Now, the guy says, well, she said you said she was too dark. A drunk woman is easily going to go from too drunk to too dark in her head.
I mean, that's
Easy.
yeah.
That's an easy. But here's where I call extra bullshit. The Yelp review of one of the bachelorette parties said she was called colored. What's the real story?
yeah.
The guy said he got it from the girl kicked out, from the girl that was refused because she was
So
black.
this is secondhand knowledge.
This is what everybody said. We're not saying that you don't believe your friend and you're entitled to believe your friend, but what we're saying is you learned from a drunk girl in a bachelorette party at a bar that you weren't there.
Yeah.
The story, and it's always almost 80% wrong all the time. You know.
And I've got a lot of drunk stories of things that, and I'm pretty sure I was in the right. But if you go back and think about it, you're like, there's at least some of this that I probably got
It's
wrong.
closer to 50-50 than I'll ever admit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying I was wrong, but I'm not if I had to fucking swear on the stand or go to prison, I'm not gonna be like, maybe I was drunk.
And I don't want to bring too much attention to the Yelp review, to the girl in question, or to the guy on St. Louis Beer Enthusiast that said this. What I do want to bring attention to is Good News Brewing overall. Amazing pizza, pretty solid beer. Not my favorite brewery, but never disappointed for drinking
yeah,
there.
I've always enjoyed it.
Never been to the Defiance location.
I was there once.
But love the O'Fallon, the original location. I'm not a religious person. We've talked about this in the podcast.
Neither.
I know that they are, but they don't flaunt it. They don't
No.
throw it in your face. And what they certainly don't go, and I've taken
Are they?
minorities
They have to
there
be.
with us.
I'm sorry. They have to be Catholic, right? If they're serving beer.
No.
No.
Other religions drink.
I mean, I assume they're not Mormons.
But and Nerdcast Jake could shine some light on that because he has a group that that he goes to church with that goes there after and will have some beers. But from all accounts of and you and I, Bender, and even Missy, because of this podcast, have the luxury of meeting some of these owners and stuff. Mm-hmm. We've done chili cook-offs against the Good News Brewery people. Yeah. Awesome. And I've been in there with minorities and had food, and they've been a delight. Yeah. I don't believe it. I won't believe it. And much like the story that I read that I posted about Stone Brewing versus Hackstone or whatever brewing, sometimes this guy consistently repeated, why would I put this if it wasn't true? Because people love fucking attention and they love to stir shit. And I wanted to bring that up, and I think it's a good transition to probably why you've left Facebook.
Yeah. I left Facebook because I got into... I don't have the ability to not call
filter
out
yourself.
Stupid people.
Yeah.
And it's an election year, and there's
and
a
the
pandemic.
Weirdest, craziest... Probably, we thought the previous election year was going to be crazy.
Yeah.
This one's going to be worse.
This is just like a fucking clusterfuck of fucking stupid situations.
Are we even sure we're going to vote this year?
It's Mark Wahlberg in the Perfect Storm.
Yes. So, I have an uncle. He's
you have more than one.
Everybody's racist uncle. You know, everybody's got one, and I have one. He's very stereotypical.
I have multiple.
Thinks Antifa is running the country and Black Lives Matter, terrorist organizations, and all this and that. Anyway, so he always posts dumb shit, and I got into a couple fights with him. And long story short, the one fight I got into him with is over the Confederate flag and how he was defending it, and I was like, this is dumb. Anyways, it led into a long 1 a.m. fight online that he was posting shit at me. And then all of his redneck buddies were firing out at me as well. Me and my cousin Jason, our buddy, your buddy
Jason,
as well.
Jason is Jason sometimes, and we love you, Jason. But we talked about how you go hard in the paint on Bender at text, and even me this week at text.
He didn't.
But he is a guy that stands for the right things.
Yeah, but even Jason was giving Mike the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going hard at Mike.
Jason was trying to be a little political.
Yeah, and I wasn't pulling any punches. I was going hard at my uncle, but I ignored all of his stupid redneck friends because I don't give a fuck about these people.
You don't know those guys. You don't have to see them at Christmas.
And I'm having a good time. I'm just having a fucking blast. And then the next morning, I get out, I finally go to bed, I get out the next morning, and my Uncle Mike, lost his shit at some point, was trying to fight another guy at Coltrane's because it veered off into another direction.
Oh, you pissed him off?
No, he's trying to fight another guy.
No, he tried to fight another guy. It veered off, some other guy got into our comments, and then they were like, anytime, anywhere. And granted, these are 50-some-odd-year-old men.
Yeah, these are ridiculous videos.
Just
ridiculousness videos.
Well, anyways, so it came down, I went to my mom's that Sunday for dinner, and my mom goes, what did you do to Uncle Mike last night? I'm like, I just called him on his bullshit. And she goes, well, he woke up this morning, and I didn't check Facebook all day, and apparently he gave up political posts. He's like, I'm just doing dogs and barbecue videos from here on out. I'm like, well, I consider that a win for me. But anyways, so then the next week...
It's a good high ground to stand on there.
Todd... that you play softball with.
I know Todd, yeah.
Posted a comment it was a map and just the
I know Todd. I know. I'm friends with him on there.
Hurt my fucking skull. And the first comment came out, and first off, Rachel all week was like, "Why are you fighting with your uncle? He's not going to change." I'm like, "Cause it's fun." But then Todd posted a map that said it's kind of crazy that we're all up in arms on these COVID deaths. And then the next map over was these are the amount of abortions every year. And nobody says a word about it. And I was like, this is the dumbest fucking thing ever. And then the first comment down, I thought somebody was going to roast him, was, yeah, man, if all those people were here and they would be in the workforce, and then we wouldn't need illegal immigrants. And then...
No, that's not how that works.
Yeah, I know. And he goes, and then also, masks are government mandated, and it just went insane. And I started to write a comment, and I was like... That's the dumbest thing I've ever read.
None of that is
it's not connected.
Yeah.
And the mental Olympics that you went through to get this connection is not worth me writing to it. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I just deleted Facebook. So I deleted it for 2 weeks, and then I logged back on last week, and I was like, checked my comments and this and that, and I was like, I'll scroll through my feed for a minute. And
People were still talking?
not the same thing. It was a different one. Literally, the first thing I clicked on was, I guess, the Donald Trump made a comment to that Ghislaine or what Jeffrey Epstein's lady, and people that I know and at some point respected were like, "Oh, he was just being sarcastic, and he's really taking down this sex ring." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "All right."
Did you
Clearly-
watch the documentary?
Yeah, no, I didn't watch the documentary, but clearly there's some very dumb people in the world that I have to deal with on an occasional basis, and I just don't need to fucking know. I don't need to know how dumb you are, and I'm just gonna.
You don't need to
myself
know
out of
because
the
you
equation.
already know.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take myself out of the equation, and the 4 or 5 times I see you, and all we talk about is like beer and what our kids are doing, is good enough for me.
Absolutely.
That's all I fucking need.
Right.
And I just.
Well, you
I
could
got
just
nothing.
you could have stayed on Facebook
No, I can't because I can't
and
keep my mouth shut.
unfollowed.
Nope.
Like still were friends with them and unfollowed their stupid shit.
No, I don't, because I feel like that's. I haven't fully deleted the app because I still like to try to buy shit on there, like from the
buy, sell, trade, yeah.
thing. Yeah, but I need to just fully. And I just got rid, and I feel so much better. Plus, if I want to argue with people, Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I like about this whole the Confederate flag how you led
Yeah.
in with this. Some of my favorite memes are all the things that are more important than the Confederacy because the Confederacy lasted under 5 years, and
Yeah.
you know, like Big Bang Theory is on twice as long as the
Yeah.
Confederate,
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, and. The other thing that I will say about, and I'm not going to get too deep into politics in this, but what cracked me up, just taking it from that aspect alone with your uncle, is also, if you've never read about the Confederate statues, the Southern statues
Yeah.
about preserving your history, do you know when most of these statues were put up?
in the 20s and the 60s.
So, yeah, because of affirmative action,
When black people got the right to vote,
they put up a bunch of statues to try to rally people against it.
and when they repealed Jim Crow laws.
So I made a joke on. I put something up, and I have a coworker who's a friend that lives up north. I put up, I can't wait, Yadier Molina, a thing of Yachty, how he broke the record for opening day starts for a catcher, 16 in a row. It's the greatest thing. I said, can't wait for his statue. And my buddy, who, as a joke, and he even said, just kidding, people, don't fucking roast me. He said, yeah, I can't wait for him to pull this one over. So I come back and said, you know what, though? This statue was actually meant to last, so it'll be solid and not hollow and easy to pull down. Because here's the thing. These statues are being pulled down over in the Deep South because they're hollow and cheap, and they were put up fast, and they're stupid.
Yeah.
And, just dumb stuff. That's all dumb.
Yeah.
I actually looked back at the post you were talking about from Todd, and I read it wrong. I actually clicked like on it until I just read it. I must have been drunk when he posted it because I read it and I'm like, wow, I missed this one. So I just clicked unlike on it real quick. But I read the first comment that you talked about.
Yeah.
It. That's insane.
It's mental gymnastics.
Yeah, but here's what I wanted to bring up about Facebook is Rick Dury, co-owner of the Beer Sauce Shop St. Peter's. He invited me to a politics blog. Now, he's libertarian. And he's got a lot of libertarian friends.
That's
Jesus.
weird,
that's-
considering his religion.
He's religious too.
Yeah, he is a Mormon.
Okay.
I don't think it's
that makes sense.
it's
That
pretty
makes sense.
pretty right in line with
Yeah, it's
libertarians.
pretty right in line. Leave me alone.
And I think don't come bother me in my yard. Close down the borders. But he invited me to a political blog, and the only reason I said yes to it is because I didn't want to have to talk about why I said no every time I go in the beer sauce shop.
Yeah.
But there was and I didn't comment on anything until one post, and somebody posted about I don't know, something about I don't even remember the original post I commented on, but I put on there something pretty logical. I wasn't coming from the left or right, and basically all I said is like, look, coronavirus has turned into big business, just like I said. And I don't trust. I said and this is where my political stance is even more lately. I'm getting really strong to the point where I'm not calling myself a Democrat, and I'm not a libertarian, but I absolutely don't want to call myself a Republican either, because I am now more convinced that chaos breeds power for politicians, and the more our blue collar the world is in chaos, the better it is for them.
Yeah.
And I think all leaders now need to be held accountable for coronavirus, for the
Sex Island.
sex island, for the divisiveness of the country. I think Republicans and Democrats alike are 100% on both sides guilty. And I really believe that. I'm really believing that more and more. I'm almost a conspiracy theorist now. It's because I'm so mad at both parties. Because both parties are so extreme to their side that it's almost like there's a point of no return. But and we can put a pin in that if you want.
Yeah,
But-
we'll put a pin in that for later.
but so I put on there. I said, he goes, well, I know what it was. It said his original post was the economy is not 33% or 33% down. It's only 9.5% down. This is fake news. And I said, no, actually, by the way they measure it and the way they've historically always measured it, they take it by the percent it's at and the rate of continuation to the end of the year. It's 33% down. That's how they always measure it. I said the GDP's down 9.5% by what you're saying. I said, so it's not fake news. And he replied was, well, let's see when Q3 is a gain. Let's see if we report that. That's why I'm calling it fake news. And I said, okay, so you're labeling it fake news because something that hasn't happened yet
Yeah.
is wrong. I said, that's like refusing to go see a movie because you expect the ending to be bad. You don't know.
No.
I go, so, and he said, well, I understand your logic. Well, so we went back and forth, and he said, you make good points. And my points were not left-leaning, right-leaning. They were fucking logical.
Yeah.
And he goes, but you have to assume you trust the media. And I go, I don't trust the media. They're big business. Here's the other thing. Politicians are big business. And anymore now, I said, what I do trust is that human nature is always to grab power and hold on to it, and that's our problem.
Yeah.
And then some woman posted on how everything is a hoax and everything, and like brought Bill Gates into it, and and luciferase, the one of the enzyme that's in the antibacterial or anti-coronavirus they're done. And look at this. Or no, she friend requested me, and she said, if you think that we're not going down a dark road, look at my timeline. So I deleted her friend request because I went and looked at her timeline.
No thanks.
The first story was how Bill Gates is a Satanist, and he put a Lucifer gene in his coronavirus. And I looked it up. I go, no, luciferase is an enzyme that was created in 1904 by Frenchmen, and it's derived from the Latin word Lucifer, which means light bringer. And I said, it's got nothing to do with Satanism. And she goes, no, you're wrong. They're known Satanists, and if you think Lucifer's a light bringer, you're in the dark. And I said, well, I'm happy to be in the dark with a backlit computer screen that allows me to search for actual answers.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, then why did they call it Lucifer? I go, they didn't. In 1904 in France, they didn't give a fuck about words like we do now.
Yeah.
They just used the literal meaning of the words. And
You're
it's
a QAnon conspiracy.
I know. I said it's an enzyme that lights up when it attaches itself to the bad bacteria, and that's why they do it. And she's like, no, it's not just one crazy website that says he's a Satanist. It's all of them. And I go, well, that's weird. I just Googled it, and the first 15 are conspiracy websites that have been outed.
Yeah.
So delete. And I'm going to no longer look on this blog anymore.
Yeah, it's not
but that was the only thing I did on it. So I get why you would leave Facebook. And that is definitely an ugly road to go down right now.
Yeah, and it's like Twitter for me is a little different because most of the people that I'm friends with on Twitter are not my actual friends. It's like news people or like entertainment people. Like we'll wrap this up with a beacon of light. If you don't follow Rex Chapman,
oh, he's great. Former basketball player Rex Chapman.
and he gets pretty political sometimes, but he also does things
Shares
like
feel-good stories.
feel good. He did one the other day. I forget the song that I was going to, but a girl had lupus or something, and she was losing her hair. Alopecia. She had alopecia.
I don't know why you pointed to me.
Lupus and alopecia. That's right in your
But he
wheelhouse, Missy.
pointed
That's
to
in
me
your
like
wheelhouse.
I would.
I was telling you the story mostly because you like that stuff.
Lupus and alopecia.
Yeah.
Missy,
She
you're
had
a
alopecia. She
big-time
was losing
alopecia
her hair.
hound.
So like there's a song going. It's a time lapse of her boyfriend shaving her hair, and she's like really upset and kind of crying. And like he gets done, and he like immediately just starts shaving his fucking head, and like she loses it. And I'm like, man, this is the stuff I'm here for. Like this is way better. Like it's a nice palate
Feel
cleanser.
good.
Yeah.
What about you, Missy? Anything else but throw it to Missy before we call her good?
Nerp.
I am about
That's a
to
word.
set on Zoom from 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. tomorrow on training for work. So
Oh, that's awful. I did that.
I've got to move this table over and all this stuff tonight, so I don't have to do it because it's 7:00 our time.
What?
Yeah.
Don't wake me up.
I will try not to.
No, Kaylin and I are getting.
6 every day.
Kaylin and I are getting up
6
to
to
work out tomorrow.
2:30.
Yeah, but you have a weird
What
work schedule.
great hours!
Those are great hours.
I said it myself. I work whenever the fuck I want.
Oh, well, that's good. But so that's what I'm doing. So tonight was kind of like a little bit of what I needed to do, geek out a little bit
Yeah.
before I do this for work tomorrow.
Because he's gonna actually have to work. And
I got to
be
do a
engaged.
presentation. and
Oh,
all
you
this
got to
shit.
actually be a part of it.
Oh yeah.
Like,
This is
normally I'm
it's
just like,
it's just my group.
Yeah,
just my
that's
group. It's
awful.
not like company wide.
Jeremy hasn't worked in weeks.
Don't say that. I got friends that might from work that might listen to this. I doubt it.
Let's be real.
I don't post it
No
on-
one you know is listening to this
A lot of people we know
that
are
you
listening to
work
it.
with.
Probably
I
not.
work every day, unfortunately.
There's a lot of.
I work fucking hard. Not today. Not
hard
this
shit
week.
is
My
stretch.
boss is off.
She
but
stresses herself. That's for sure. Well, her work stresses her, not her stress herself. Her work stresses her. Right? So she does. From that aspect, Missy does exhaust herself throughout the day because of how much BS and how much stuff she has to do. Missy, my wife, and I listen. She has to spend a lot of days repeating herself to the same people over and over, and that will
Oh.
wear you out.
hey,
It does wear you out.
you know me. I spend a lot of time with offshore people. How do you think that makes me feel?
Yeah, yeah. You know she's savagely racist.
Super patient. Maybe
I
right,
said-
you can't scan this.
I actually say, can you repeat that again quite often?
Yeah. So anyway, politics aside, sorry we ended on such a political note. I hope.
Oh, I got one thing.
Well,
I've had this beer before.
People,
people.
I like margaritas now.
Ew.
Oh, this is a great day. This is a great day for me because I love margaritas, and Missy is.
I haven't drank tequila since I was 20.
I don't hate tequila. I hate the heartburn that I get
no,
from
no, no.
margaritas.
Yeah, margaritas.
I haven't been able to look at or stomach or smell tequila since I was 20. I doubled my limit in shots one night, and a couple weeks ago,
So 2.
no, it was 10 that
Nobody's
night.
supposed to do 10 shots.
Right. So I had 10 shots one night. That was when I was 20. I wasn't even old enough to drink. Usually, me and a few girls, we go to dinner once a week, and we all went to El Mazon, not last week, but the week before, and they kind of guilted me into drinking margaritas,
Peer
and
pressure?
now I love them.
Yeah, I'm
for
excited
you.
about that.
Good for
so
you.
let's sign off here. We're not drinking margaritas tonight because we've been drinking beer, and we're going to finish
Let's
with beer.
go.
We're not doing it.
He's got a 7 o'clock presentation.
No,
Yeah.
no Let's Go Blues from Tommy Two-Tone, but they did lose their first game. Let's hope they rebound and
Yeah.
keep going. But we can throw it straight to Bender.
And hold on to your butts, people.
Bye.
And I'm going to play the music. This was a two-part episode all in one. It was a comic episode and then it was a normal episode. But it was good. We're done. And you did, but you talked yourself
We
back
hate
in.
Bender.